Dear students of class 8A and 8B, today the last lesson of civics I am going to teach you. Lesson number 2, the name of the lesson is the Union Executive. Some points I have written in the board, please look at it. The points are as mentioned. Number 1, introduction. Number 2, president. Number 3, term of office. Number 4, presidential election. And number 5, powers of the president. First point, introduction. You know, the organ of the Indian government is the Union Executive. The organ of the Indian government is known as Union Executive. There are some, organs of the Indian government. What are these organs? Number 1, Union Executive consists of a number of organs. Number 1, the president. Number 2, the vice president. Number 3, the prime minister and the council of ministers. So these are the most important organs through which the entire process of governing the country is looked after by these important persons. Suppose by the president, by the vice president, by the prime minister, as well as the council of ministers. They are fully responsible in the process of running a smooth government throughout the country for a term of 5 years. And next one, president. Who is president? The president is the nominal head of the country. The president is the nominal head of the country. The president is the chief executive and the constitutional head of the country, and fully responsible for, the entire procedure and system of the country. Since he is the head of the Republic of India, since he is the constitutional head, since he is the chief executive, that's why his role in the country is very, very important. And he or she is the first citizen of India. He or she executes the powers of the union governments, either directly or through the subordinates under him or her. A number of subordinates are appointed by him in the interest of himself or herself, and whenever the work and entire procedure of presidential election is held, in that case a number of subordinates are appointed by the president for his own conveniences. And next one, qualifications. What are the qualifications required to be the president of India? Certain qualifications it requires: at least 35 years of age, a citizen of India, and meet all qualifications required to be a member of the Lok Sabha. So these are the most important, eligibilities. A president is required. A president is required. So until he is fulfilling the minimum, criterias or minimum eligibilities, the person cannot become the president of India. To be the president of India, this much eligibility should be showed to the authority, and then the person can become the president of India. Now, term of office. The president holds the office for a term of 5 years. He or she can be re-elected for a second term, but it is depending on his popularity. It is depending on relationship between the president and the countrymen. In that case, sometimes the president can be re-elected for a term of 5 years. But the thing is, the president holds the office for a term of 5 years. And before 5 years term, before completion of his full term of 5 years, no one can force the president shifting from his power. In that case, although a proposal of no confidence motion can be brought in the Lok Sabha, and before bringing the proposal for impeachment, but president sometimes take the challenge of no confidence motion. In that case, sometimes president can explain in different forms with copious examples and establish his identity, establish his acceptability as the president of India, if he is able to prove it that whatever allegations have been brought against his name are wrong. and the allegation and what he explained in the explained in front of the speaker is right. In that case, no proposal for impeachment of the president can be entertained, or these are declared to be null and void. And next one, term of office. The president holds the office for a term of 5 years. She or he can be re-elected for a second term also. The president can be re-elected for second term also. And next one, presidential election. Presidential election means the president is elected through an indirect process. The president cannot elected directly, but through an indirect process. And the common people do not participate in this election process. It is the electoral college that elects the president. The electoral college is a temporary body comprised of MLAs, MPs, which is dissolved once the election is over. Once the election is over. So that's why it is said that the president is elected directly, not directly but indirectly. And the common people do not take part in the process of presidential election like common people or general election. It is the electoral college through which the election for the president is held. And in that case, the members of the electoral college is a temporary body comprised of MLAs, MPs, which is dissolved once the election is over. That means for temporary purpose, this electoral college is generally established throughout the whole country. And as soon as the process of conducting election gets over, in that case, this temporary or temporary political organization is withdrawn, and which is dissolved when the Lok Sabha is over. And next point, the president main power. What are the powers of the president? The president has some power. The president has some powers. Number one, executive powers. The president has executive powers. What are the power? What is the executive power of the president? The president has certain executive powers, namely, the president appoints the prime minister and other council of ministers, but in consultation with the prime minister. On requirement, the prime minister and the council of ministers submit their resignation to the president. The council of ministers, the president, the prime minister, they are appointed by the president, but at the same time, on some important matter, the prime minister before leaving the post of prime ministership, or before resigning from the prime ministership, the person may consult the president, and he has to go. Generally, he has to do work under the advice and instruction of the president, and the president appoints and removes all the dignitaries and high officials like the Attorney General, Comptroller General, Auditor General. They all are appointed by the President of India. And next one, the Comptroller, Auditor General, the judges of the Supreme Court, the judges of the High Court, they all are appointed by the President, and including High Commissioners. And the President administers the Union Territories. The President administers the Union Territories. The Union Territories are all under his or her administration. And an administrator is appointed by the President to govern the Union Territories. So, in order to protect the Union Territories, the President, can appoint, in order to protect the Union Territories, an administrator is appointed by whom? By the president, an administrator. And what is the work of this administrator? The work of this administrator is to make a list of the people who are not given their rights, proper rights. There are different types of rights given by the central government, and in terms of ensuring their fundamental rights, ensuring their rights, the president, plays an important role. The president can govern the union territories. That's why union territories, also are formed. The union territories and their members also are allowed to, go for any type of prayer, any type of requirement. They can go and they can, make the entire process of the Lok Sabha useful. The president administers union territories, and these union territories are all under his or her administration. An administrator is appointed by the president to govern the union territories. There are so many, provisions for conducting assemblies, conducting meetings, seminars, but the president always make his own program, and as per the program, the president works steadily, and at the same time, the governor of a state can make his or own program and keep on the process of running the government very smoothly. Up to this, my dear students, next day, the other important, qualifications of the President of India. Up to this, thank you.